We're back. Well, hello, Mr.
Okay.
Vrostoff. How are you? How are you feeling today
Good,
after
good.
the amazing event yesterday?
Yeah, doing great. It was really fun and big shout out to everyone who helped make it happen, to all the donors, the memers, the streamers, and all the fun fans. Thanks to Emma Handy, Numa to the Nami Kenji, Zach Allen, and Jim Davis, our opposition, and also our team, Gob Nassif, LSV, and the one and only Cale Durward. We had a lot of fun, raised a boatload of money, over I think 22,000 for charity for two great causes, and yeah, it was just a blast. I'm still a little tired, and my kids are very young and they don't know what's going on. They're like, they're on their normal schedule, so you know. So anyway, but yeah, it was a lot of fun, and yeah, thanks to everyone who tuned in, and thanks to everyone who made it possible. And big shout out to Jim, who this started off as just kind of a rivalry between him and I, but this year suggested to open it up and make it a little bigger, and he was down, and I think it turned out really well. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thanks.
Yeah, and I'm happy. We had spoken briefly before about having a conversation, so I'm glad to kind of be the unofficial, I don't know, decompression show or whatever you want to
Yeah,
say. Unintentionally, but
exactly.
I definitely I had other things I wanted to talk about, but I did want to touch on this because it was really enjoyable as a viewer. I guess I can give you that point of view. Um, I've been following your stream for a couple years now, and I did get to see last year, and it was really fun to see you compete against Jim Davis, another streamer who I follow pretty closely, and that's cool. But just to see you guys open it up, and it's so many great personalities from the Cube community, from Magic in general, really, because a lot of them don't play Cube as much as you, of course. Well, that's very
Hmm.
few people, right? But so many just to come in, to come together for great causes. And I do have it on the screen now. If the Tiltify is still up, you can search for it. It may be closed now, but if you didn't get a chance to check it out, still two great causes: the bail fund, and Doctors Without Borders. Of course, are always taking donations, so you can do it outside. But yeah, just wanted to say congratulations to over $20,000 raised between the two projects. So much fun, so many moments that again, as a fan of Cube Magic, and you know, pretty much every one of the streamers I watch pretty regularly, it was just great. It was great from this side. So a home run all the way.
Absolutely, and yeah, it was just a lot of fun too, and also just being able to be on a team with three of the greatest, and was just awesome. It was great all around. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. And thanks to you and everyone else who also not only are actively participating during it, but also actively helping to promote it and stuff like that. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, that was also great. Again, a lot of just being involved in the great community, Cube community. It's something I talk about on my show here on the Hodge Gulashi Network quite a bit. Is the great Cube community in general on Twitter,
Hell yeah,
Facebook, Discord, um, wherever you go. You find these great people. So just to see people like our now mutual friend Magic the Simpsoning. I actually don't know his real name. I should probably ask him. And Voxy and all these great personalities just getting involved in it. It's just an extra layer to an already amazing cake. That's giving me diabetes because you're all just so sweet. But it was great. So I did want to mention that.
absolutely.
Congratulations, great event. We look forward to it next year when it's like 16 players and just chaos, switching back and forth between all these streams and everything. But yeah, so congratulations to all those involved. But the real reason I had spoken to you, and again, I appreciate after witnessing about 20 of your hours on your stream. Thank you so much for coming on and still being on the
Yeah,
show, because I know
hell yeah,
that
my
was a lot of
pleasure.
work. A
Thanks for
lot of
inviting
fun,
me.
a lot of great feelings, but it was a lot of work you guys put in. It's not easy being entertaining and trying to win and all that, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for inviting me.
Not a problem. So again, part of the reason I originally wanted to talk to Jonathan on the show, for those who don't know, I'll link below. his stream and his Twitter, particularly. I was introduced to him through a friend who is the wonderful host of this channel. I've mentioned many times. He said, you got to check out this Team JBro. He's like telling me hashtag bless up, and I'm like, I don't know. It sounds like, is this like a joke? Is this guy like a jock guy? Are you trying to like tease me right now? And then tuned into your channel and just found this amazing streamer, very engaging with his audience, whether it's about magic or non-magic, which isn't always easy for a lot of streamers. So I've been happy to follow and support you for the last couple of years. Got to meet you briefly at a meeting with another great streamer, Caleb Durward, who I've mentioned many times on the show. And but what really endeared me to you was your honesty on Twitter, on your stream, and particularly I'll link to an article that you wrote, about your personal life and your work in politics. You talk about a lot. So something that we talk about on the stream is, as it applies to magic and life, trying to stay open. Stay open in your picks, but try to stay open in your life as much as you're comfortable. And you're obviously somebody who does that in both walks of life. So I will link to the article if people want to read it, but basically, I'll allow John to kind of summarize here. You wrote an article probably a year or so ago, maybe a little longer, about your journey through mental health and how you've come to be such a strong advocate, particularly for those who are struggling in mental health. And I was hoping maybe you could talk a little bit about that with our viewers here.
Sure. Well, right around when I hit puberty, I started kind of showing some signs that something wasn't quite right, and I started my, kind of journey on all this stuff. I guess really kicked up, and I started having a lot of trouble sleeping, and eventually, especially after a couple days or maybe in 3 days of not sleeping, having some, I'd say, kind of like psychotic episodes, and just really having a tough time. And I eventually would be diagnosed with bipolar manic depression. And as I got a little bit older, and throughout maybe middle school and high school, there were some pretty serious incidents and some a lot of hospitalizations, a lot of medication, things of that nature. And luckily, my mom's a social worker, and she kind of, I guess, quote unquote, gets it. And she was very supportive, and my father and, my brother. And luckily, I had just an awesome support network, and we had insurance, and I had the ability to access the sort of life-saving medication therapies and stuff like that really helped turn my life around for much healthier lifestyle. And not that you're ever cured, it's just that not that I don't still struggle today, but you kind of get more tools to deal with situations. You learn what's going on, how to address it quicker. And the article you got up. So I'm a state legislator by day, and I had the honor of serving on the Suicide Prevention Task Force here in Wisconsin, and all my Republican colleagues at that time weren't willing to talk about guns at all, and do anything on that. And it was really frustrating to me because we kept hearing all these horrible, heartbreaking stories. And we went all over the state. We went to these rural communities and talked to these farmers, and went to this military stuff and cops, and we went to with these met with youth, and with the LGBTQ plus groups, and all these various groups that from geographically very diverse areas, as well as different kind of perspectives on life and ages, and kind of different parts of the state, urban, rural, etc. But there was one through line, which was means matter when it comes to suicide prevention. In other words, if you can just push a button and in your worst, darkest moment, you can make everything go away immediately, it's very different than having to go through another process. And that is basically what you have in a gun. You can just, without hesitation, pull a trigger and end everything very quickly, which is different than other, suicide attempts, as I can attest to, as someone who's attempted suicide multiple times. And, I was very serious with, kind of planning it out, hoarding my medication for, for quite some time so I could get, I would always read up on all the books and stuff, and I would try and get up to 4 times the lethal dosage, I remember. And, but going through that process, your body's like, hey, stop poisoning me, I want to live. And it has mechanisms to survive. And it basically started, you can vomit that poison out sometimes, and
Right.
whatever. But that's very different than just, again, pulling a trigger, and in one moment the trigger is not pulled, and the other moment it is, and everything's over. And again, and this is also personal, because actually there's another overlap. And one of my friends whose mom came to testify, was, a magic buddy of mine, actually, to a certain extent. He was a very close friend, actually, and he would come over every week, and we actually had a little group of 4 of us. It was me, him, Christina, and Arthur, and Brian, my buddy, just one day didn't come, and he said he wasn't feeling too good, and we texted him. And then, I found out later he had shot himself and killed himself via gun. And, the last thing he wrote was a message. Basically he wrote out, some thoughts about his life and stuff like that, or whatever. And then he also wrote, things like, the fact that I can get a gun is really jacked up, and, we really need to do something about it. Basically, like, I shouldn't have been able to get this gun to kill myself. The fact that I can do it, with my mental, illness stuff and stuff like that, or whatever, means something's wrong. And his kind of last call out was for other people to not have to experience what he experienced, and for people to help with that. And anyway, it was that meeting that we had that I just got really upset. And the fact that over and over and over we kept hearing from people, means matter. And not only that, but one of my colleagues, Representative Tittle from the Manitowoc area, basically, we heard about one bridge where there was 2 people who were trying to complete their suicide off a bridge. And after hearing that, he got really upset. He said, okay, well, we have to do something. Let's put all these guardrails up, and let's do that. And he asked the person who presented that information about that particular bridge, what can we do about it? And that person, who's an expert on this stuff, said, look, you could put up, there are things you could do and put up physical barriers and all this and that, but if you're looking to invest state resources in suicide prevention, and obviously you're saying means matter, because if you take away the means of jumping off this bridge, and these 2 people wouldn't have had that opportunity to try and complete a suicide, then really firearms is what you need to be looking at. And there's a myriad of different stuff to look at. You can talk about smart technology where it needs a certain fingerprint, or you can talk about getting rid of the straw man sales, and blah blah blah, all these loopholes. And anyway, basically him and everyone else like scoffed at that, and they're like, no, we're not going to touch the guns. And I just found the whole thing so ironic and so upsetting. And the fact that the amount of funding that they were talking putting forward was insultingly low compared to what every single expert that we talked around the state, as well as our own experts, suggested was needed. When it's something like corporate welfare, like subsidizing a huge company like Foxconn or something, they'll put in, they'll drop 2.5 billion, 3 billion overnight. Something like this, where statewide you're talking about saving a lot of lives, 60 million is like, way too much, and da-da-da. And anyway, so I found the whole thing very frustrating. I just decided that I'm not going to vote for this in protest, and I'm going to say exactly why, and I'm going to talk about my experience and why it's bull, and what I think is maybe helpful for other people. And actually, eventually, I'm working on it right now, but I want to write a book kind of talking about my experiences. And I think it would have been helpful when I was going through tough times, and hopefully for other people, it'll be helpful for them as well. Um, but yeah, that's where that article came from, and that's kind of my journey. And really a lot of the stuff that I went through and a lot of stuff I learned about through my journey with mental illness, with bipolar, manic depression, whatever, was very edifying and important to where I'm at today. And it ties into magic a lot too, because um, well, one, it's a great support system, and just having that community and having people
Mm-hmm.
there for you and that you can interact with and stuff like that. Even when it's digital and stuff like that, I find really helpful. But on top of that, just being able to have something carved out in your life that's fun, that's something that's kind of just like making time for, I guess it's, kind of term self care now, and having some sort of hobby or something fun. And Magic fits that role perfectly for me. I love gaming, but Magic's my favorite game ever made. So yeah. So anyway, it's kind of a long answer to a couple questions you might not have asked, but hopefully
No,
that
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 I
helps.
appreciate it. Again, people can read the article as well, but I appreciate your thorough. And I actually did not know the connection to your gaming group and adding that. So I do appreciate that. And again, part of why I wanted to bring you on is I think that that's important. Um, again, for somebody like yourself who's somewhat of a public figure, comfortable with talking about it. Um, this may have felt like a natural thing to you, but for a lot of people, it's not. Even for myself, who's a professional counselor, I don't speak as openly, about my own experience. I certainly did not uh, have, as severe of an experience as you had, but I had my own issues as a youth. I was hospitalized for threatening suicide. I had a lot of people who helped me, which kind of led me on my journey to be a social worker. And but still, I was told even by professors in college. I remember, my abnormal psychology teacher saying, if you've had struggles, don't share it, with employers. Don't, they can look at your
Hmm.
health records. They can find out you won't get jobs. And that stuck with me for a while. And, on my second interview at a hospital, I said, when they asked me, why did you want to go into social work? I said, because I've been on the other side of the table as these kids and I want to work with kids and I want to be that person who helps them through, potentially these kind of hospitalizations. And they told me later that they felt like that was, you know, that was a big deal. And they appreciated my honesty. I got the job. My career went on from there, but I was afraid to do that. And I can't take the fear away from other people from sharing that's their emotion. But I do feel like sharing these kind of things, it can only be helpful. A lot of people are afraid to talk about things like suicide and mental health out of fear of sparking those kind of feelings. I've said over and over again, I'm a professional in the field. All the research I've seen, all the colleagues I've talked to, there is no research to support that that's ever happened. So again, I want to encourage and champion people like yourself who are out there not only doing the work but sharing their own story. It can only help, especially in our community where we do have a lot of people. It does seem, I don't want to stereotype anybody, but it does seem like there are a lot of people who come to magic and in my other walks of life, comic books and those kind of mediums seem to attract those who have trouble, finding a core group or socializing. So I think it's important that,
Yeah, for
especially
sure.
that we share with those
Absolutely.
around us. So yeah, again, I do appreciate it.
No, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, for sure, gaming in general is such a good outlet for that energy and such a good community, and can be really supportive. It can also be really toxic in certain settings, but that's why it's important to kind of encourage a good behavior and lead by example and stuff like that. But yeah, I totally agree, and I think it's been really helpful for me. I'll say that.
Well, great. And again, I appreciate it. I encourage people to read the article. Again, I'll link it, um, underneath you know, the show here, so it'll be in the show notes below. So I encourage people to read that. I know it came out was it, October of last year, but still relevant. I think it's one of those kind of evergreen things you can go back to and read. Um, and not to make a rough transition out of that, because that, these are serious topics that we talk about, and that's again part of why I wanted to do the show is to explore that. So I don't want to shy away from that, but I also don't want to make people feel like I'm being, um, that I'm brushing it off and trying to move on. But part of the show too is to celebrate the community. I've invited people on before, um, to help me through drafts and things like that. If anybody else would like to come on the show as well, if you want to talk about your journey, it doesn't really have to tie directly to Magic. Um, but if you also play and enjoy Magic, especially Cube, contact me as well. I'd be happy to discuss your journey. Um, but again, I just thought Jonathan would be one of the best people to bring on and kind of talk about that, because he speaks so well about his journey and his experience with these kind of things.
Well, thank you.
But we had spoken about at the beginning of the show. I'm sure that you are probably sick of looking at Magic cards at this point.
Never.
Never.
I just need to run out of bottle. Hold on 1 second.
Oh, no problem.
I'll be right back. You keep going. I'll be right back.
So yes, in this pause break here, we also encourage as well. We could go in and we could overly edit these kind of things, but you've all probably heard my kids stomping in the background or coming in and asking questions. That's part of life too. Now that actually Jonathan's a relatively new father, I feel old in comparison. I've got a 7 and 9-year-old in a different phase of life. We're actually learning Magic right now, which is great. I've been playing for a couple years now with my son. But yeah, Jonathan's at that beginning fatherhood stage as well, so it's been cool to see him, on stream and have his kids come in and try to jump in his lap and try to balance that as well. Is an enjoyable experience. But and if
All right.
y'all have comments, follow-up questions or anything like that, again, I'll link John's Twitter and other ways to contact him, especially his Twitch. I encourage you, to follow him on Twitch if you're new to Twitch or a veteran of the game, so to speak. He's very enjoyable to watch on there, especially, again, in these seasons like vintage or holiday cube season, as they call it, where you see him up here at the top of the leaderboard. And then you see over here. There's a real reason I invited you on the show. This was all a ruse. I need to get this trophy count up here. So
Let's go.
You must have played today, huh?
Yep, got a couple in.
You're amazing.
Yeah, got a couple in. Got a couple quick. Actually, that's the thing is I'm really glad. I loved everything about the event, but it's the worst I've ever performed since I've been streaming, and probably ever. But in Cube, and yeah, I really wish I could have done better for my team, but we still got there. Thankfully, I had a freaking all-stars to help out and MVPs, but yeah, it was not on my game. Just not enough sleep and had some other stuff weighing on me that kind of distracted me at the time, and personal stuff. But yeah, let's get a trophy. Let's get a good deck.
Well, yeah, I mean, I had a theory with Hodge that you did that to kind of make the Rocky Balboa comeback.
Yeah,
to make
exactly.
it dramatic with your team. I mean, it really came down to the trophy between Caleb and Jim, really, right? Because you would have tied if Caleb doesn't take that trophy from Jim.
Right to the
Jim
end.
Davis, which was amazing to see. So yeah, secretly I'll always think that you were trying to make it an exciting event, but yeah, but no, that happens, and I certainly appreciated as a mental health professional, you battled through, you showed poise, you're still having fun, you were genuinely appreciative of all the donations and all the excitement. It's never fun to watch someone you respect struggle, but certainly I think that if you're going to do it in that event with your teammates picking you up was a great thing to see.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and yeah, I just I'm glad that I talked it over with everyone, and everyone had a really good time. But I'm just glad we got to do it, and most importantly, we raised a lot of money for some really good people to help some really good causes. Rather, like I was also out marching, as far as the current civil rights movement going on and stuff like that or whatever, and being able to and yeah. Anyway, it's very personal to me on a couple levels, but being able to support the bail bond and support Doctors Without Borders, literally saving people's lives, especially with COVID and everything else going on. That we've had in 2020 is just awesome. So yeah, it was easy to be in a good mood, if not fully on top of everything, given that. So
Right. Everybody likes bragging rights, but you knew, you know, people were going to get, the
right,
important people were going to get what they needed. That's a lot of money. It's nothing to
yeah,
scoff at.
that's
You all did
great.
great. But let's fire up this draft. I usually try to say, um, what I'm kind of eyeing, and then kind of see what my co-drafter and again, I appreciate you coming
Sounds
on
good to
and
me.
going through this exercise with me. I mean, seeing
Absolutely.
me draft about 30 times in the last 2 days and about 300 times in the last couple of years, I have an idea for those again
What are
who
you
haven't
feeling?
watched.
What do you personally lean towards? What's your what do
I'm
you enjoy?
I am like, I don't know why, but once I started playing Cube and I drafted my first mono green ramp trap deck like 2 or 3 years ago with Mr. Haj Gulashi, I cannot. I just can't not focus on green. I just anytime there's like,
Perfect.
which
Let's
I
try
know
and draft a good green deck. Let's go. I
I'm
love
all
it.
for that. I'm all for that. I did draft one. I've drafted this about 3 times.
Nice.
Did not do so well. So again, being green ramp,
Oh,
my eye would go right towards green grim monolith. As someone
yeah,
again
Grimano, that's good.
who's watched you as a fan, I know what card you're eyeing,
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
and I'm okay with that.
but no, no,
Again,
no. Let's go Grimano. Let's go Big Daddy Fatties. I
part of
like
the
it. Chromox also.
part of the show too
I,
is to get out of my comfort zone. Like I try to draft Storm and other things that I'm not as comfortable with as a lot more seasoned Cube and Magic players. But yeah, it's hard for me to pass a green monolith. Fast
yeah,
Bound would be
I
another
like
one
that.
where I enjoy green, but it's not something that I often play. Uh, yeah, and in Chrome Mox, I think probably would be the other, right? It's probably
Yeah, I
between
like
these four.
Chromox. I actually like the um, Monster Mentor quite a bit as well.
Okay,
But yeah, let's go green. Let's go green. Let's take that Big Daddy Fatty Ramp spell. Let's do something good
great.
with it.
Well, I appreciate it. And then my pick obviously would be Ancient Tomb or Arbor Elf, if that's the direction we're
Yeah.
going. So they were easy on
Um,
me today.
well, Ancient Tomb is more powerful, I think, than Arbor Elf, generally speaking. Arbor Elf sends the message a little harder, but it's also a lot easier to replace, right? Like, we're gonna get, hopefully, other one mana, dorks, but we're not getting more lands that tap for 2 mana. That is, that's a pretty special thing. And hopefully we can get more. Hopefully we'll get a Gaia's Cradle up in here.
All right, we could
But yeah,
backdoor into like a mono brown
true,
artifacts matter.
true.
And then
Yeah, keep it open.
the other pick you'd be eyeing would be like bribery, right?
I like Bribery. I like a Braid. I like.
Yeah, braid's great.
Actually, kind of like the Salt Monolith if that land wasn't in there too.
Okay.
Um, just going way bigger. But yeah, Ancient Tomb, like we're looking at a, second turn. Ooh, and we got Tree Speaker. And so we're looking at a second turn. What's that? 6/6 that gains life. Um, the artifact Wormcoil Boil.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's also such a good signal that it's around so late. So that's delicious and nutritious.
Okay. Well,
Let's.
the packs are going easy on me because this is a lane that I feel like I'm more comfortable in. Although, again, last time I felt like I drafted a busted mono green and still went 1-2, but that happens.
Well, Tree Speaker is fantastic. Green Soul Ring is nothing to scoff at.
Okay, and then I would be leaning towards Coalition Relic. I know probably not as good in Vintage Cube, but still a good card.
Colossus looks great. Let me ask you this: what do you like about it in this particular build? Tell me more.
Well, you know, the potential to get 2 mana and extra mana every turn, or, you know, the 1 turn or so where you go off with the 2 mana, you know, jump from, you know, on 4 to, or what, and this turn, hopefully turn 3 to prime time, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm thinking, or maybe I'm thinking incorrectly that Coalition Relic is more for a different type of deck.
I think that since we're in green, we're going to get a lot of ramp. We want some payoff. Let's take Harmonize here.
Okay, great. Yeah, see,
Harmonize is.
that's definitely one where
we're-
I do not know the value of Harmonize. I see people draft it all the time. I just think, yeah, 4 mana, 3 cards, but in green, I guess. And then obviously.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, basically, we could also consider the whatchamacallit as a big as a nice payoff. Um, but on the other hand, yeah, we're fine. Yeah, we're fine. Just like the crisis is a good path too, but harmonize is good because I think one of the common things, at least for me early on, that was easy to mistake in green is it's like you're just so focused on ramp, but to a certain extent, once you get a critical mass, you're going to just got too much fluff and not enough stuff. Whereas being able to go tree speaker into harmony, like tree speaker, uh, level up, play another elf that harmonize, like you're keeping up with. I don't know how to say exactly, but it's better. Yeah, that's what I mean to say. All
Okay.
right, so Green Sun Zenith is delicious, fantastic,
Okay.
delicious and nutritious.
Yeah, and then obviously the other pick, I don't. It's not us, but I know you seem to draft the blue green quite often, but this wouldn't be one where you would want Shelldock because you're not planning to be around on turn 10 or
Yeah,
whatever, right?
probably Green Sun Zenith is what we're looking at.
I think it's easy enough, but I will be honest. I'm a big fan of smashing 2 archetypes together, so I might take in the Entomb and try to do like black green reanimator stuff.
Sure.
Just I do that often. All right. And do we want off coast
Okay.
yet? Power Stone.
Well, Power Stone's nice. Phyrexian Revoker's nice. Having some disruption in your green deck, obviously, it's not as cool in the sense that, like, you've got, you've got creatures to attack their planeswalkers. Sometimes you just need to shuffle a planeswalker. Being able to hit their artifact mana early, being able to turn off a Jitte or a sort of body and mind, stuff like that. And again, one Power Stone is fantastic, Signet is fantastic, but in a green deck, we should be able to ramp better for earlier, like Tree Speaker or Arbor Elf or something.
Okay. Devoted Druid.
Ooh, nice. See, exactly. Like Devoted Druid does the same thing, except it's 2 color specific.
You can get
It's
that
it's
extra
two
one
color
turn.
specific. Right? Yeah, it's like it's the same thing but way better.
Okay. Yeah, so definitely this will be interesting. And again, part of the reason I did the show was to watch my own drafts and go back. But this is very helpful, and I do appreciate it. You know, I'll be able
Oh
to
yeah.
go back and listen because I definitely overvalue like Worn Power Stone, you know, Basalt Monolith, but maybe not as powerful in a vintage environment. And this was our first pick.
Yeah, whatever you're feeling. Maybe Shriekmaw, Weed Splash for black. I don't know, or
Yeah.
Smokestack could be good in certain contexts. Whatever.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're firmly in the green seat, but could see like a smokestack. But I like Shriekmaw better. I think this is where we saw our Arbor Elf, but probably the land, right? Or do we
Yep.
not want to tap land in green?
Anything green sounds good to me. And
Let's
hopefully
see.
we can get that crisis back.
Oh yeah, or an Oko or something. Something crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes I see you draft the 4 and 5 color decks, and I just can't. I can't comprehend the way the labyrinth of your mind works in these environments. Just somehow
I know
just
we had a great one that should have won yesterday, except we completely misplayed it. That was tough. We just we clicked like we just made some misclicks and just some sequencing stuff that was based on being tired. But yeah, this is looking good. We've got Tree Speaker, we've got Ancient Tomb, Devoted Druid to a certain extent. Yeah, this is a
yeah.
good start.
I mean, it's looking great to
It's
me. This is what I sit down to draft every time. I have to force
yeah, for
myself
sure.
to draft other stuff. Um, I definitely was I've always been like a Golgari player for a while, and I was definitely black was my favorite color until I started really playing Cube. Um,
Hmm.
and
Let's take the blue spell here.
yeah, get some good stuff.
In case we get a actually that stone can be good. It doesn't always, but it can be good.
Yeah, but once I started playing Cube, like I said, just and I always liked green, but the what is the term? The Johnny in me came out. Just wanted to play those big fatties.
See, there's a good one. If that fast bond would have came back to us, commit to memories like is worth considering. Sadly, it did not get the fast bond, but it's definitely worth considering. Like you can like commit to memory. Ooh, okay. Is this all the cards, or is there one more on the
One
bottom?
more on the bottom.
What's the other card? Oh, repeat. Shouldn't even look. All right. What do you like here? What are you feeling?
So for me, it would be Lotus Cobra, but probably
Hmm.
not maximized here. But I mean, it's green or treachery, I guess. I mean, we only have
Lotus
one more.
Cobra. Yeah, they're both great.
I don't know.
Tiger might be worth considering. Uh,
Through the breaches.
you
Again,
know,
this is where I would jam two things together and probably do through the breach or something, but that's probably not the
yeah,
right.
through the breach is worth considering. It's also worth considering Mutavault,
Okay.
especially if we can get like a Golos or um, a Prime Time or something. I like to have a land to search up, but let's take Lotus Cobra. Maybe get some fetch lands, and also again, if we're gonna get like a Ancestor or something, we want to be able to splash.
Okay.
Ooh, nice.
You know
Courser
what?
Crew fix pretty good.
Yeah, because that's definitely where my eye went, just because I love this card and constructed and everything I can play it.
Yeah,
Um,
Courser's great.
I know other people would probably not, especially in this much of a powered environment, but clearing the
Well,
top of
again,
your
it's
deck and
unfortunate that we're not going to get to play Fast Bond, which obviously plays
right.
really well with Courser. We passed it and it got taken. But Courser as an engine for drawing cards is a way to survive against fun police. And again, as sometimes something that you can like use really cool stuff with. If you have like a Fast Bond or the thing lets you play additional lands or whatever. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
all that's gravy in the Navy.
yeah. I mean, I'm always down to play my favorite card in any format, and I never get to play this card, so I'm probably leaning towards that.
Yeah, Garga Darga Barga. That's perfect. So that's something that, like, again, with an ancient tomb getting a turn 3, is just chef's kiss, magnificent.
Right. Yeah, this card could just run away with a lot of matches. And regrowth, even though
Yeah,
a green
Garga
card
Darga.
is not necessarily a card I want in a strategy like this, is that the correct line of thinking?
Yeah, I mean, regrowth is, I think, best when you're green and blue and you have, like, time walks and recalls and counter spells and, stuff of that nature.
Okay.
So it's not best here necessarily, but
We're probably not going to wheel much, but the packs are being pretty good to us right now.
yeah,
We'll need some more.
Garga Darga Barga is really good.
Is there any truth to the fact that you like cards more depending on if you can give them a nickname or
It's definitely not the case.
not?
Yeah, I
um,
never thought about it, but yeah, I guess I have I don't know. That's kind of my nature. Winter Orb can be nice.
yeah, see, I would go
Uh,
towards Eureka, but we're not. Eureka's more if you got the big nasty fatties, and we're
yeah,
a little short in that department.
a little short in that. Winter Orb, spell, Signet might be worth considering. Signet's also going to be good if we can get like a what's that 5-mana enchantment that lets all your lands tap for an additional Mirari's Wake or whatever.
That's a good one.
So it could be good for that, maybe. So we can take it on speculation. Winter probably wheels to us if someone, doesn't have whatchamacallit's not that good. So
Okay.
we can grab that.
White Steel for our Tinker package we're going to draft. It's probably Steve, right? I know, yeah, another JBro favorite.
Yeah.
I just hope we don't
Yeah.
have to pass the Thraben Inspector because we're not. I don't know where he's going.
That would be tough. Again, Elder kind of lets us ramp, but we're we're in a little bit of a rough spot in regard to not having any one drops. More one drop elves off the shelf. We also could consider a Tarka, but probably Tarka comes back, and Steve helps us splash a Tarka better anyway.
Okay.
So yeah, I think Steve is the play for sure. And also, like, sometimes there's stuff where you want to trigger 2 lands, go and play it once. Sometimes there's other benefits to it as well. Ooh, Fraley's nice. I like Fraley's more than I should. It's probably like the 6th best or 5th best, like 5-drop in green, but there's also a lot of really good 5-drops in green.
I don't know. I've seen her do some amazing work for you, and that definitely sold me. Like at first, I was like, why did they add this card? Like, I mean, it kills an enchantment.
Yeah.
Who cares? Yeah, just
I
having
love it.
so many good abilities. She's just really good.
Yeah, she ultimates really quickly. She protects herself, and also like disenchants in this particular iteration are really important.
Right. Would you any consideration for Kozilek, or is that not what you want in this?
Yeah, Kozilek is a great payoff if we can get like a channel. We also have like a lot of good ramp, and if we had like a Garrick or a Thraben or whatever that card is, Green Thraben Inspector is one of my favorite cards.
Green Thraben, of course.
And again, like if like Time Twister, like if we had that freaking whatchamacallit, Time Twister would be bang bang, but we don't have it, so
yeah,
it ain't.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's an easy Green Thraben Inspector, or maybe Thraben Inspector is the white Tireless Tracker.
Yeah.
And another one of my favorite cards. So again, happy to draft it. I am still one of those foolish players who picks his favorite cards.
Absolutely.
This Garrick always gives me fits. I always forget what he does, and
I know.
not always
Well, it's really I like it a lot. Caracas is also fantastic, but yeah, I think we're taking Garrick here.
Okay. Thin in the middle here.
We're a little light on the 1-drops.
Yeah.
Everything else doesn't matter, but 1-drops matter.
Yeah, I wonder if we just passing that Arbor Elf. I don't know. Who knows? But I mean, we
Mutavault's just fine here. And even if we don't have a way to search it up, just when someone does like a Wrath of God and it's like, yeah, it's just fine.
Okay, I do like Wall of Blossoms too, but
Wall of Blossoms is good if you're need to protect your plane. Ooh, nice sword. So now we really want more mana dorks. Sword also makes all the mana dorks just so much better.
Regrowth. We're not a Kuldotha deck.
Yeah, let's take the regrowth. Again, if we get a time walk, we have things to splash it with now. If we get a recall or something, I guess we'll take Eureka because green.
Sure.
But yeah, regrowth has work to do.
We could harmonize into regrowth into Brain Freeze.
Exactly.
Green Storm.
And then remand it, and yeah, 100%.
You joke, but that's something I would see you do.
Hey, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
Although I saw Zach Allen backdoor into like this crazy Storm deck, and that's one I hope he puts a video up or something. He just kind of had to switch late in the draft and somehow made it work where he's mana leaking his own spells to get the extra storm count to tendrils. That dude showed off his skill in that regard. In the
That's
queue.
hilarious. Yeah, shout out to Zach.
Yeah, I respect that man. I did before, but he was out there grinding and slept like 6 hours in 2 days. He was just excited.
A happy warrior, as they say.
All right, let's open some power and finish it off. Yeah, so we need payoff, right? And a couple of dorks. Mox Emerald.
Yeah,
Black Lotus.
exactly.
All right. Definitely, thanks to you all, amazing cubers, have learned the power of memory jar. I don't think we're on it here, but yeah, that's one
Yeah,
line always.
gosh, we are just getting bullied. I mean, Thragtag's fine. This is really not a great Euro deck because we don't have a ton of ways to get stuff in our graveyard, like Ponder, Remand,
Right.
uh, get taxing probe, stuff like that. Dryad's fine. I kind of like Thragtusk, I guess.
Okay.
Because
My other one is I love Consecrated Sphinx, but
we could go Sphinx.
I
We
think
could definitely go Sphinx. That's a good payoff card. Let's try Sphinx.
okay.
Thragtusk is boring. Yeah.
And probably wheels. All right. I'm
Yeah.
down for trying to ramp into Thragtusk. All right. There's our door.
Why not? There we go.
Birthing Power.
Carlos, we'll take it.
And then Trigon Dargon.
Yeah, Trigon Dargon's fine, but we need an elf off the shelf. Take that Avacyn's Pilgrim. We need a critical mass of elves.
Ding, hit the bell.
Woo! Let's go.
He's got the bell right now. That's amazing.
Let's go, Craig Oko.
I should have known you had it with you.
I'm ready.
You carry that thing around with you at work.
And the nice thing is that, we do have, and again, regrowth, is now a little bit better because we're blue, but we do have, so we have Steve, we have a couple, we have Lotus Code, we have a couple ways to get other mana.
Okay, great. I'm in for Oko. I do love you, Deranged Hermit, one of my favorite cards ever.
Yeah, Deranged Hermit's great.
And I wish they put the new Hermit in here. I love drafting the double.
Yeah, I know, right?
I love the double Hermit.
No.
All right, people are not giving us the blue fixing, though.
Yeah, it's too bad because Sneak Attack would have been dope early on, but Ancestral Visions is fine, I guess. Whatever. I mean, maybe either the Golems are okay too. I don't know. It's kind of sloppy poppy, but
yeah, this is a hard one. I mean, I'm kind of monocolored, so
I would take Vision.
You would take Vision. All right, that's what I brought you here for. Drawing cards in green.
Maybe getting the H-Drop out is fine too.
We're a little short. We'll see what comes up. A couple packs left. A couple picks left.
A couple picks, couple packs. We'll get it back.
Okay, there we go.
Ooh, that's nice. Again, Preordain would just be fantastic.
Yeah.
If we were able to get the whatchamacallit back, the Earl, but let's see if we get it back. But yeah, fine. Fine's fine. Everything fine. Also, Skull Clamp's pretty good in this deck. We've got Fraley. Alright, let's take that Prismatic Vista.
Alright.
Again, anything that loads up our graveyard is going to make that Euro better.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully it comes back. I am often accused of not eating my vegetables, so
Yep, eat that
I'm gonna try to
vegetable.
do that.
Ooh, that's a
I know.
good payoff. All right.
Yeah, that's what we needed.
Let's get that Shriekma out of here now.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry, Shriekma, I do love you, but all right, we got
So
to make
let's.
it work.
Well, that's 23. 23 playables and 6 land. We're close. There.
Peace within.
Yeah, it can be a relevant elephant at times.
Yeah, not bad for a late pick. We can make it work.
Yeah.
My goal is only to go 2-1 to get to the next draft, so that's all.
This
I
is
go in with limited expectation.
this could be a 3-0 deck. I mean, it's tough when you're in a format that has like your opponent's just gonna, they just happen to open up a Lotus and
Right,
then you go turn one something Dargon. It's
right.
not. It's just not much you can do.
And boy, that's something obviously I didn't have you mention. Maybe you want to mention here at the end. I know you've shared your story about how you came to Cube, and I think the story went something like your buddy set one up and you won your first draft and you were kind of hooked from there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Tom Carroll um, invited me over, and yeah, I was completely hooked from jump. But I also found out I was really good at it. I just was able to basically loop infinite time walks and plow unders. It was a power cube as well.
Yeah.
I should say. So yeah, just
Spank
was
pack comes back.
all right. Drag tech came back.
I'll take it.
That's something.
See, consecrated Sphinx
Let's take
kicks in.
let's take regrowth out of this one.
Okay.
And let's take sword out maybe. Oh no, wait, maybe hanger banger.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good call. I'm gonna sort it back in for now. Yeah, my cube experience.
Oh, we got commit to memory.
That's true. Could be good.
Could be a good tempo play.
Put it in for now. My first cube experience was different. I took a long lapse from Magic and came back and was playing, Commander and Modern and some other formats, and then we want the Trigon.
Nice.
I never
Yeah,
seen
Trigon Dargon. Oh wait, hold on. Yeah, Trigon Dargon. I was gonna say. Yeah, Trigon Dargon gets even better in this particular iteration.
for us here. Guess the card we least want to see in case we get paired against our opponents. But yeah, I sat down in my first powered cube and was totally overwhelmed. I think I took like Elspeth or something just because, the cards are so powerful. And I had taken a long lapse and wasn't as familiar with a lot of the cards. Do we want Golem here? But yeah, I did not have the same experience as you, but so that's part of why I started the show was, to talk about mental health and things like that. But, also to improve at Cube because even, after a couple years of playing, I still miss a lot of interactions and there's a lot that, I'm still learning in the game. But, I got a kick out of when you shared that story about, people come at the game differently. Their experiences are differently, but understanding, like you said, sometimes your opponent is going to open Time Walk and Black Lotus and, just go off on you. And as tilting as that can be, you move on to the next game. I mean, I try not to downplay on the show. People spend their money on this, their tickets, whatever. I'm not minimizing that. It's okay to be frustrated. Like, we didn't get as many one drops as we want. We may not be where we want to be with this deck, but try to reflect on why you're playing the game. And I play for enjoyment, and to blow off steam, and to meet people like you, and to talk, and just especially in these high variance formats, you can't if it's really tilting to you to get someone to entomb on turn one, reanimate on turn two, and beat you with the Grizzle brand, then maybe Commander is more your style, or maybe something else that's not as high variance. So You know, it took me a few drafts to kind of realize, you know, I was getting tilted off by a lot that I can't control, especially in a
Absolutely.
competitive environment.
Absolutely.
So,
You can only control what you can control.
yep. And you can't control what you open, like in this case. I appreciate you walking us through this. You know, we didn't open any power. You know, we can't control that. So part of, you know,
We
preaching
did get
mental health.
Oko,
We
which
did, and
is
he is
arguably
definitely the power 10
the
or
most
12.
powerful.
He might even be
So
better than Time Twister or something.
yeah.
But
So there's that. So we're not dead in the water. We're not dead in the water. We're just taking a little, a little detour, a little Harry Potter tour.
well, I will certainly have fun with this, and then again to have this experience with you and be able to draft it. You know, even if I go 0-3, I've already gotten my money's worth out of this draft. So I do appreciate you helping me through
Hell yeah!
this. So I don't
Thank you.
expect any guests to stay on and watch me punt away games, but and I keep saying
No
on the
worries.
show
Well,
I'm gonna
thanks.
stop teasing myself, but you know,
Yeah, no, I'm sure you'll do great. But thanks for having me. Thanks for your work in the community and all that stuff. And yeah, appreciate it. And yeah, you should be successful at this and everything. I will see you around. I'm sure on the next streams. And thanks for putting this together too. And thanks for the invite. I really appreciate it.
no, I appreciate you, sir, and all you know you do to be a positive force in the community. And
Oh
anytime
yeah.
you want to come back on, talk about anything you want us to plug or promote or you know encourage, please let us know. We'll put all Jonathan's information again below. But anything else you want to plug or I'm assuming after the 48 hours of magic, you know you don't. Well, something we plug often. John is one of the um, organizers for CubeCon, so we'll definitely be hoping
Ooh.
to meet you again in 2021 or around then to get that going as well.
Hell yeah, get that vaccine out. All right, well, appreciate it. Appreciate you. And have a blessed night. Appreciate you.
Take care, John.
All right, adios.
Bye. All right, so that was our interview with the amazing Jonathan Brostoff, Mr. JBro. So I will include his links in the show notes here, and hopefully you all already follow him. If you don't, he's a great follow. He does speak openly about his political views, and I think that is just fine. Um, but yeah, as far as the deck, it didn't perform well. I'm recording this after I've played the games. We went 0-3. We struggled for wins. Pretty much, if we cast Oko, we were doing okay. But otherwise, we didn't seem like we had enough top end or enough powerful mid cards, not enough ramp. So, but that is not the point, my friends. The fact that I got to draft my favorite archetype with one of my favorite people in all of Magic the Gathering and maybe in life in general. I'll have a special place in my heart for this deck, certainly. So I do appreciate if you stuck in this long. I apologize. Recording through Discord with Jonathan left the audio a little bit wonky. I did try to fix it as best I could, but just decided to put it up. And I hope you enjoyed this. We look forward in 2021 here to having more discussions like this. And if you're interested in coming on the show and talking about your journey in mental health and Magic the Gathering, we'd be happy to have you. As we say on the show, we get better together. And I think that is a good way to wrap up the show here. So thank you again for tuning in, and we will see you soon.